Pick a card, any card, as they say. You could sign this, but trust me, this is the only 10 of hearts in the deck. I'm going to place it somewhere about that high. And somehow, when I snap my fingers, I think I can feel it now. It's come to the top. Crazy. We'll put it down right about there, back in the middle. And yet it somehow arrives back on top. Now, at this point, you would think that if I put it really, really deep in the deck, as far deep down as I can, that somehow it wouldn't come back to the top. But just like that, it actually, it didn't. Let's see, I might need your magic help here. Just focus your magic powers on the card. I think we got it. So at this point, you're like, okay, something's going on here. So I like to show people with the card face up this time. There's nothing sneaky going on, nothing in my hand. You can actually see the moment that it jumps to the top. But okay, at this point, there's got to be something fishy going on. So look, I'll show you here. I'm going to place your card inside, once again, about middle of the way. It's not on the top for real. It's not on the bottom. And that's because, well, you weren't paying attention to this box here. That's right. There's a card inside the box. Did you see that? I kid you not. This card, it's not just any card. It is your 10 of hearts. This trick might be the most important trick you learn in terms of what it teaches you about magic, about performance, about theory, and it's such a good kicking off point for a magician's journey of learning magic. Not only that, magicians, professionals, and hobbyists to this day are using this trick as an opener. You will see David Blaine doing this. If you run into David Blaine, he will probably perform some version of ambitious card routine. Magicians all across are still using ambitious card routine to great effect. It also can be misused and can be performed poorly. What makes the difference? How do we make sure that this is a strong routine? Well, I'm glad you're here because we are going to teach you a simple, easy, but powerful ambitious card routine that you can use. So whether you are a seasoned expert or you are new to magic, there's something for you in this video, so join me along the journey of learning the ambitious card routine. Here's the routine as you saw it from beginning to end. The first matter of business with an ambitious card routine is the simple fact that you need a closer. You need an ending. And there's debates about this. Should the ending to an ambitious card routine involve the card coming to the top or something else? I've even heard it said that if the ending of your ambitious card routine does not involve the card coming to the top, then it's not an ending to your ambitious card routine. I think the semantics of that are missing the point. In the structure of a magic trick, you have a surprise, some escalation, and then you have a subversion at the end. This follows storytelling pattern, this follows comedy. So, in my opinion, you do need something different. In our case, it's going to be a card to box. So to set that up at the beginning, I placed a double-backed card. This comes with many decks of cards nowadays, cards sold to magicians, but you could of course tape two cards together, or you could just have a joker or an indifferent card, and the cleanup at the end will look different, but that will still work. So of course you don't want them to know it's in here, you can close it or turn it away, but you're then going to have a card selected, and you're going to do a tilt as the first part of this, Ed Marlo's tilt. So I taught that in a video that you can find on the channel, but the basics of it is that you're putting the card seemingly in the middle, but you actually put it second from the top. So again, go ahead and check that video out if you need a tutorial on that. You're then gonna execute a double lift for the first phase. And again, we also have a tutorial for every move that you're gonna see here you can find on the channel. Once you've done the double lift, you can then place the card in the middle, and that of course is not really their card. Then that gives you yet another phase where it comes to the top. So the middle of an ambitious card routine can get overdone. I think that's why some people walk away from it. So I even pushed it a little far in this version, but I'm going to show you what those moves were. So we had it come to the top and then come to the top again. So after we've had it do that twice, we need to switch it up in some ways. So we're going to do that in a couple ways. The first way is it's not actually going to come to the top at first. So the way we do that is we're going to cut it into the middle, keep a break, and I like to dribble on top of the break, and then we're going to execute a double undercut. That's where you hold the break, and then you throw some cards on top, you throw some more cards on top. You can be sure to check out the tutorial for that as well if you'd like. But then we have the card here. So what we're going to do is, instead of just making it come to the top again, we're going to execute a double lift, showing that it's not on top actually, and then you invite the spectator's help. This is great. Stuff in the hands is always great. And so I really encourage you to, put it in their hands, let them focus their magic energy, whatever it may be. And then when they turn it over, that's pretty crazy. If you want, you can then go into the card to box, but one more added bonus is that you might want to do a pass or something that visually shows the card coming to the top. So again, we place a break, dribble to convince that it's in there. Before I do the pass, I like to show off my hand being empty, and then we come back and we execute. I do a Hermann pass, and the justification of this is that you're showing them a visual of the moment that it comes to the top. Some people don't like using a pass as eye candy. I can totally understand why. Using it more as a clandestine move is fine, but if you want something visual there, that's another phase you can add. So at this point, it's come to the top of the deck like 3 or 4 times, right? So you can overdo this. I think there's other things I would be tempted to add, even like a shake change, whatever it would be. But at some point, you need to release your audience member and then move on to other routines. So to release them from the tension and building escalation of this, before it turns to annoyance and boredom, you've escalated that right amount, you need to subvert. So to subvert in this scenario, we're going to make it appear in the box. So to make it appear in the box, you can do a variety of things. You can have it controlled once again, whatever it may be. And you just need to make sure it ends up on top, ready to go. So once you've controlled it back to the top, you can do a convincer of showing that it's not on the top with a double lift, or if you use the tilt again and you control the card to the second to the top, you can do this little moment of showing that it's not on the top, not on the bottom, and then throw this to the bottom, and now it's ready to go. Whatever you prefer. But regardless, you have the card appear in the box, and you can have it appear other places as well. You can have it appear in the box, and I think a helpful way to mechanically do this is to, before you put the card on the deck, you have the deck ready to go in your hand so that it's more motivated. You take it off with the deck, and then it's just ready to go for a nice little double turnover. And the nice thing about a double backer is that you can do that display. That's a really nice convincer. You can have it appear other places, your wallet, your pocket, whatever. Now, let's say you don't have a double backer. If you have an indifferent card or a joker, you still can pull it out just as you would before. And all you have to do is do a double lift. And then what you could do is turn the rest of the deck over in your hand and remove the card, thus getting rid of the double. So a couple things to remember. Of course, you want to practice in front of the mirror, get your sleights and techniques down so this is fooling, but also remember this is an interaction with an audience member. So let's talk through how you could present this. Okay, so you're going to have a card selected, no big deal. When they have apparently seen it placed into the middle of the deck, you can truly do just the basic snap your fingers, and look at that, it comes to the top. Now they're hooked, right? You've shown them that you can do something that somebody just fumbling around with a deck of cards couldn't do. So they're interested with that. You don't have to explain too much there. But then when you've placed it back in again, what you're communicating to them is how you're upping the ante. You're not trying to be, depending on your character, it could vary, but I don't tend to try to be antagonistic toward a person, but it's a fun little challenge, right? You're saying, hey, I'm going to make it even harder on myself. I'm going to put it even lower. Something that communicates this is getting crazier. So you can communicate something like that when you go into the middle again, and then look, it comes back up just cleanly like that. So we're moving along, and here's how the structure helps. If you follow what I've told for this version, when you get to the part where it has not come to the top, that's at a perfect rule of 3 where it's gone once. That's impressive because they didn't know what was going to happen. It's gone twice. Oh my gosh, he did it again. I was actually paying attention this time. And then boom, oh, haha, he didn't get it. This is where you get to involve them. And that's being kind to them. You're not trying to be pandering to your audience, but it is fun. You get to put it in their hands. They get to do a magic wave. Again, it's not that deep. I think that's something with magic that, as I've been around it for almost 20 years, you kind of feel like you have to get super deep. I remember Illusionist, they posted a good discussion video of this. It might have been in their blog as well, of just like, scripting is good, yes, but not everything has to be a deep metaphor. It really can just be fun magic. So anyway, they get to make the magic moment happen. I think that's pretty great. If you do the pass again, I think communicating like, hey, a lot of people don't see the magic happen in front of them. I want you to really get to see it this time. And so it feels like you're giving them something special. I think Craig Petty has talked a lot about this, of different little hook lines you can use of like, hey, I'm not actually supposed to do this as a magician. You know, a lot of magicians, we try to hide when the moment happens. I want you to actually see when the moment happens. That's infinitely more interesting now, right? So when you do that jump to the top, it'll feel even more special. And then, of course, the subversion at the end. You can do a number of things, but maybe you can even tell them, hey, now I know what you're expecting, right? You're expecting it to come to the top again. At this point, I don't even know if you'd be impressed if it comes to the top again. So look, we're gonna leave it mixed in. It's not on top, it's not on bottom. And so then when you have it appear in the box, it's a subversion because it didn't come to the top. It's in a place they didn't expect. And if they signed that card, wow, that's gonna be so cool. And then that finishes out the trick. Psychologically as well, by subverting at the end, that's like the punctuation mark on a sentence. They know the trick is over. They know that it's time to say, wow, that was really cool. And then they can either shift into watching more from you. You can ask if they want to see more, or, you know, you've at least gotten to finish. If you don't structure your routines, you can find yourself doing these little bits. You get one ahead a little bit and then you reveal it. You get one ahead a little bit and then you reveal it. Where are you heading? So if you know you're headed to this card to box moment, or a different moment that you choose, you know you've given them a full experience, if that makes sense. I hope this helps provide some structure and some theory onto the psychology of how this can work well with audiences. So think about that idea of introduction, escalation, and subversion. How are you going to end it at the end? And then the flavor text, the patter, the things you say in between. We're having fun with our audience, right? Magic is fun. That doesn't make it a lower art form. That just means you need to focus on how to make it as strong as you can. And sometimes that just means, hey, it's not that deep. Let's have some fun here. And how can I use my words to create this feeling of escalation, something special and different, and then you really throw that twist in at the end for them. What did you think? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think of ambitious card routines in general. Do you think they're overrated, underrated? And check out those other tutorials. If some of those things were too quick for you, I have complete tutorials on each of the sleight of hand moves that you saw in this video. This is kind of the first full training of a classic routine, foundational tricks and moves in Magic that I wanted to provide on the channel. So I hope you can go check those out and enjoy those as well. I will see you next time. Bye.